Guy is the son of Might Dai, who was known throughout Konoha as the Eternal Jōnin. Dai was not bothered by this moniker and instead was grateful that other people cared enough to know him at all. Dai encouraged this same kind of optimism in Guy, as well as his belief that one always has youth and that they could both become taijutsu masters through diligent training. Guy did his best to embody his father's teachings, but had doubts that Dai's words were devoid of meaning. He nevertheless loved his father and feared others when they called Dai the Eternal Jōnin mockingly. When one of these fights landed him in the Konoha hospital, Dai encouraged Guy not to be upset by this loss and to instead remember that victory is achieved by defending things that are important. Guy is perhaps most fully represented by his nice guy pose, a thumbs up, wink, and winning smile, complete with the proverbial ping. The pose captures his optimism and confidence, as by striking the pose he is promising that whatever words accompany it are either true now or will become true in time. It represents his energy, as he will, through his understood only to himself and select others' power of youth, enthusiastically seek to live up to his promise, no matter the personal investment doing so will require of him. It plumbs his deep emotional well, because he only reserves it for the most important promises to the most important people for the most important reasons, and as such tears frequently stream down the face of somebody, inevitably Guy, when the pose is struck. He is a very driven and committed man, both to his principles and his training, constantly pushing himself to go beyond his limits. In the anime, it was shown that even after gaining effective use ninjutsu and jinjutsu, he makes it a personal choice to rely solely on taijutsu whenever possible, even prefers unconvincing disguises rather than the transformation technique. Guy can be serious at times despite his odd mannerisms, usually when engaging an enemy who threatens Konoha or one of his comrades. But even his serious moments can be undermined by one of his eccentricities. Guy has faced Kisame Hoshigaki on 3 separate occasions, yet on each occasion he's been fairly confident that he never met Kisame before. Guy is aware that he has a poor memory for faces. From observing the vibrancy of youth that his students possess, Guy may, in a moment of thoughtful self-reflection, wonder if his own youth has passed him by, only to immediately dismiss this as impossible, because youth can never fade. If his student, Lee, should break one of his tenets of conduct, Guy will discipline him with a physical strike, only to then immediately start crying at the realization of the harm he's inflicted and the well-intentioned passion that led Lee astray in the first place. Guy refers to himself as Konoha's sublime green-blue beast of prey. Like many of Guy's traits, the moniker may be fitting. Lee wholeheartedly approves of Guy, modeling his own appearance and personality after Guy's so that he can become as beautiful a man as Guy is. For these similarities and their common backgrounds, Guy is in turn dedicated to Lee, doing all in his power to help Lee achieve his dream of becoming a master of taijutsu. Their almost father-son bond is so powerful as to sometimes be disturbing to others. In later years, Guy even developed a similar relationship to Lee's son Metal, becoming like a surrogate second father-uncle to him. Niji and Tenten, though they also benefit from Guy's teachings, are only willing to join in on Guy and Lee's antics up to a point and will either rein them in or leave them to their devices if their patience has been exhausted. Kakashi shares Niji and Tenten's reservations with Guy and is often only an unwilling or indifferent participant in their contests. Rather than discourage Guy, this further motivates him, as he wants to defeat Kakashi's cool, hip, and trendy personality. There is no animosity to their rivalry, however, and Kakashi in fact considers Guy to be one of his closest and most reliable friends. They work well together in the field, can understand what the other is thinking without anything being said, and are concerned for each other's well-being. Despite a poor start in his ninja career, even considering himself a loser as a child, Guy's potential growth was openly acknowledged by the famous Sakumo. He ultimately proved himself a late bloomer, becoming an extremely powerful shinobi, recognized as one of Konoha's strongest. His skills have been acknowledged by the likes of Itachi Uchiha, who warned the entire Akatsuki not to underestimate him, and even his rival Kakashi, who was deemed worthy to become Hokage, had the highest trust in Guy to aid Kakashi in battle. During the Fourth Shinobi World War, he fought off the Six Tails alone, and with his fullest capacities unlocked, nearly defeated Madara Uchiha as the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, who compared Guy's performance to the first Hokage, albeit this very nearly cost his life. Despite his permanent damage from the Fourth Shinobi World War officially ending his ninja career, after continued rehab, Guy was able to adjust to this apparent handicap to remain as powerful as ever. Ultimately, Guy became recognized as a legendary shinobi. Because Guy had little talent in ninjutsu and genjutsu as a child, he dedicated himself to perfecting his taijutsu. His father, Dai, called this early knowledge of his own strengths and weaknesses a virtue most shinobi did not have. By adulthood, Guy is a taijutsu master, using his strong fist style to effectively adjust his attack patterns and battle tactics to best handle the situation with various unorthodox yet effective strikes. Ultimately, his fighting skills allow him to almost never has to rely on weapons. His skill has even been acknowledged by Madara himself, who believes Guy to be unsurpassed in physical combat. After losing usage of his right foot, Guy's style became more stationary, balancing on his left leg and position himself, so his natural weight works with him. He will use his remaining limbs to battle, even strike with his right knee, and employ flips and handsprings to move about quickly. Guy has conditioned himself to the absolute peak of physical prowess by constantly challenging himself through various arduous training means. Without the aid of chakra enhancement, Guy's undeniable physical prowess has allowed him to perform various seemingly inhuman feats. With a single hand, he can casually plow opponents deep into a rock wall, and with even more effort, launch the foe clear through it and a great distance away. Likewise, his sheer speed is consistently able to attack an opponent before they are fully aware of his presence, if at all. His stamina and recovery rate lets him continue fighting for extremely long periods of time or return to battle ready in extremely short periods of time. 8 gates, taught by his father at a young age, Guy is able to utilize any and all of the 8 inner gates. His mastery of this ability allows Guy to instantly open up the first 7 gates without the need of opening previous gates. With each gate he opens, different physical and mental attributes are unlocked to their fullest potential, enhancing Guy's physical, mental and chakra capacities by considerable amounts. Consequently, his body can take on more damage the more gates he opens, and the longer he maintains them, with using all 8 gates near certainly causing eventual death. For this reason, Guy only opens a single gate in order to protect something or someone precious, a philosophy taught to Guy by his father and passed on to Lee. At the same time, Guy's extreme training allows him to handle opening the gates for longer periods of time, able to endure the 6th gate with only noticeable exhaustion, as well as resist the after effects of the 7th gate to continue fighting for a short period. By the 4th Shinobi World War, Guy became able to withstand using the 7th gate repeatedly before succumbing to its effects as well as immediately adapt to the immense pain of the 8th gate. Guy has created several different techniques that he can perform once certain gates have been opened. With the first gate, he can use the pile-driving front lotus. With the third gate, he overwhelms opponents with punches through the reverse lotus. With the 6th gate, Guy produces a series of rapid punches that ignite his hands through air friction, what he calls morning peacock. With the 7th gate, he launches concentrated air pressure at opponents that violently expands on contact, creating what he calls his one-hit kill move, the daytime tiger. With the 8th gate, his punches can create powerful shock waves of air that can be used from a distance, what Guy calls evening elephant. Also with the 8th gate, he has Night Guy, a single kick of such speed that the space around him is distorted. Night Guy, though it almost kills Madara Uchiha as the 10 Tails Jinchuriki, is responsible for the irreparable damage to Guy's right leg. Ninjutsu, while rarely performing any usage of ninjutsu or genjutsu, Guy is still capable in them. He has the ability to summon tortoises, such as Ningam. Additionally, he has a chakra nature of fire and lightning. Guy is at least knowledgeable about other ninjutsu, recognizing the 4 red yang formation and speaking informatively about its power and difficulty. He is also able to dispel a high-level genjutsu. Guy has other practical skills that do not require chakra to use. Preferring weapons without blades, he is proficient with nunchaku, and with his personal pair, Smshka, he can smash through rock and trade blows with Obito's gunbai. He trained Tenten extensively in using her various ninja tools, showing mastery of them himself. He at times make herbal remedies to help Lee with his training, though their benefits are unclear. In his mostly one-sided competition with Kakashi, Guy has devised a way of combating Sharingan users by focusing on the positioning of their feet to predict their movements and negate the Sharingan's eye contact-based genjutsu.